Hello everyone. Good evening. Well, it's good evening in the UK here, and for everyone else, I suppose it's different places. Okay. Can everyone hear me? Yeah. Can you put a Y in Q&A if you can hear me? All right. Just checking that my volume is all good. Can everyone hear me? Good evening, everybody. Can everyone hear me? Please put a Y in the Q&A or the chat box if you can hear me. Okay, I've got some chats here. Okay. Yes. Okay, brilliant. Great. Right. So hope everyone's day's been good today. And I'm just gonna jump right in so that we can start. I want to find what am I looking for? I'm looking for share screen. I'm just going to take a screenshot of this thing. 1 second, please, because I need to talk to the support. I'm not sure. It doesn't seem to be going into the right. All right. When I start up Zoom, it doesn't seem to be going into the right section all the time. All right. So let's get into it. I will jump right in and right. So the past 3 weeks, we've been going through what's really needed to start up an online tutoring business. It's to grow your online tutoring business. And we've gone through quite a bit about what your why is, what your goals are, and what tools in particular, and how to make sure that those tools all fit together and you know, sort of the module behind it, behind online tutoring. And actually making that work and being successful, and particularly getting students online and everything that you're going to need. So what I've done what I've done is to open up a few browsers for some of the things that we need. So I'm just going to run through what we need, what tools that we need again very quickly to run an online tutoring business. The first one last week I talked about Zoom. We talked about it, so I don't think I need to, or maybe it might be helpful if I write it on here so that you can actually all see it. All right, I'll write it on the whiteboard first, and then I'll go into showing you some of those tools. So whiteboard, can everyone see the whiteboard? Please put a chat in, put a yes in if you can see the whiteboard. If you can see the whiteboard. Okay, that's great. That seems clear enough. All right, so I'm going to put in, I'm going to use, probably going to use text here, and just write out the bits that we need. So, tools that we need. One would be Zoom or Skype. We are actually using Zoom at the moment. Oops, sorry, I've got my caps lock on. Hilarious. All right, so we're using Zoom at the moment. So Zoom or Skype, or anything that helps you with a student-facing environment online. Yeah. So Zoom or Skype. I would always say use Zoom because it's more, it's clearer, it's more reliable. I was actually asked this question just probably about 5 days ago about Zoom and Skype and which is better. I would always hands down Zoom. It's more reliable, it's clearer, it's a bit more slick. It has so much more. It has so many functions. I don't know, you probably can't see my screen at the moment, but it's got so many things like text. You can write out by text, you can draw out, you can write out things by pen, digitally, I mean. You can erase things, you can spotlight things, which is like if you want to highlight something, if you've written up some numbers or some notes on the screen and you want to highlight it, you can highlight it. And you can do a whole lot of things like that. You can do so many things. You can format things. You can draw lines. You can change fonts. You can change colors. You can even save what you've written on the whiteboard. How cool is that? You can save what you've written on the whiteboard. So I just want to move this though. I want it moved away from my, yes, I don't want it blocking. Coolio. Right, so Zoom or Skype. Second thing that you're going to need, second tool. Now, these are free. So Zoom, as I said last week, Zoom is actually free up until, well, it's just free, really. However, Skype is, of course, free as well, unless you take on the extra calling functionality, or maybe some other functionalities on there. Zoom is free. You can use Zoom free, one-on-one especially. You can use that forever. For one-on-one students. You can also use it for group tutoring, which I always recommend you having a mix of one-on-one and group tutoring. And some of you your goals might only be to have group sessions. But if you want to have any group sessions at all, you can use it for Zoom as well. Because you can use Zoom for it, because with Zoom, you can have up to it's up to 2 students, because 3 of you. Yeah, you can have 3 people log in, so that's you and 2. I'm not sure if it's 2. You can have up to 3 people log in. Those are the rules for Zoom. I just don't know whether that includes you or excludes you, but that's quite easy to find out. You can easily find out from their support. Just send their support an email once you download Zoom. So you can have 3 people online up to 45 minutes only, and that presents a bit of a challenge if you're doing a 1-hour class. And where you don't read, it's not very professional. So start cutting in between and say, no, I'm going to start another session. So in that case, you'll need the paid version of Zoom. Other than that, one-on-one, you can just have one-on-one. I use as a paid version of Zoom. I've got 2 versions actually. I've got the free version on a separate account, and I've got the paid version on a separate account. So it just depends what I need each time that I use it for. But the paid version obviously has got a lot more functionalities. You can't use, I don't think you can use a whiteboard on the free version. So yeah, it's a sort of thing. Zoom is, but Zoom is really cool. But you can always start with Skype if you need to. Next one is your Facebook business page that you need. I hope that everyone, I'm going to go through in a minute. I'm going to ask you all what you've done with those pages. And your homework that you had last week. So everyone be prepared. This is the number 3. You're going to need somewhere to keep your email addresses. You're going to need somewhere to store them, and that's what this is for. So MailChimp, you can use MailChimp, you can use Aweber or GetResponse, and there are some other ones, Active Response, which is a little bit more, Active Campaign it's called, or you can use Infusionsoft. Active Campaign and Infusionsoft, especially Infusionsoft, is quite complicated, but it's very good. Like, it does everything. But you're really not going to need Infusionsoft for just tutoring unless you wanted to have a lot more automation involved, But really, you'll be okay with MailChimp, Aweber, and GetResponse. I use MailChimp and GetResponse. Why do I use both of them? I don't know. I started with GetResponse, and then eventually I moved to Infusionsoft, and then went back to GetResponse. And I'm still in GetResponse, but I'm also still on MailChimp at the same time. And Aweber is also another one that you can use. But I'm going to show you a little bit about MailChimp today because I've been using that more. Active Campaign is quite good too, much cheaper than Infusionsoft. Infusionsoft is quite expensive. Active Campaign also has more automation than this 3 combined. Just this 3, it has more than this 3. So MailChimp, Aweber, it has more automation than MailChimp, Aweber, and GetResponse. And I'll show you them in a minute. MailChimp is free up until 2,000 contacts, so you should be fine with just 2,000 contacts. Unless you want to be tutoring the whole of your town. WordPress, you're going to need to set up your website if you haven't already done that. I know during the week, someone actually started to do their blog. I'm not sure if they just started, but they actually, well, they're on this call actually at the moment. And they wrote a blog, a very nice blog for students on tips on studying, which was great. I thought that was fab. And that's certainly part of building your website. The blog is a part of your website. So there should be like a website itself, that looks, I use the word colorful with caution. You don't want something that's too colorful, but you want it to look nice and professional. And you want one that is, you want a part of it that is just really your website. And then another part of it would be your blog, but they would all sit on your website. And the website just tells parents a little bit about who you are and what you do. Whereas the blog is about certain topics that you pick up for, support to students or to parents. And I suggest writing for a mix of students and parents. There could be separate articles, but it's nice to write for both of them so that you're talking to all of them. And you can do that weekly as well. So hosting is GoDaddy, and I wrote this on the board last week, so I'm just literally writing off the board. I thought with this you'll be able to take a screenshot quite easily. GoDaddy or HostGator. There are several others, but and hosting means that you are hosting your website on it. So your website must be hosted in something, and that's that. These are the services that actually host websites, and there are several others, but I use HostGator. I've also used 123 Reg, and I've used I've also used 1&1. It's now called Ionos, something like that. Anyhow, so that's hosting. You're going to need something for payments, to take payments, Stripe or PayPal. I like Stripe. I've got both, and I've used both. But I like Stripe because it's quite good. It helps you to do subscriptions, so if a client, if you're going to be charging a client, say, a certain amount every month, say $150 every month, or $200 every month for lessons, you can have it recurring, and you don't have to keep going back to say, oh, can you transfer the money in, or them transferring, and you check in, and all of that. So you can just take payments on Stripe. And you can, the other thing about Stripe is you can actually take credit card details over the phone, like when you're talking to the customer, and you can actually put the details into Stripe straight away and take the payment off. So you don't write it anywhere. You literally just put it in there. Because it's not really safe to write people's credit cards at all. And that's dangerous. Okay. And then content generation. This is nice for if you, things like BuzzSumo, they kind of give you ideas about articles that you can write on. That's why I put this here. There's also something called PLR articles. They're called private label, private label something, I think. But anyway, PLR means if you just do a search into Google and say PLR, they are like articles that you can buy that someone else has written that you didn't write. And it'd be about tutoring or about education or kids, something like that, and you can look at that. You can buy them. It means they're yours. But I always say, read it over and change it and personalize it a little bit more to be your thoughts. Because obviously you'd have read them before you actually buy them, but make sure that you personalize them a little bit more. And then your calendar, because obviously you're going to be booking somewhere. So Calendly, you can use Calendly. You can use 10 to 8. I use Calendly now, but I'm going to switch to schedule ones. So there's Equity, I think it spells Equity scheduling or something, either that or that, Equity scheduling. Anyway, if you type that into Google, you'll see it straight away. And there's also schedule ones, which I want to start using because it provides a bit more automation. And of course, lastly, which is probably obvious, you are going to need a computer or a laptop. Yeah, I mean, you can do a lot of things on your phone, but it doesn't look professional, obviously, if you're tutoring a student online and you are, well, you can actually use an iPad too, because you can put that up. You can put it on the stand such that it's big enough, but I think a phone could be a bit shifty. It's always nice to have a backup though, so definitely do have a smartphone as well. that just in case something happens to the computer or the laptop, it doesn't connect properly, you know, then you can use your phone if you really have to, you know, because again, what you can do is get a little stand for those, get a little stand, and they're only like probably, I don't know how much I bought mine, but it was really cheap, probably under $10. You know, you can get a little stand where you can put your iPad on, or even your phone if you really have to use your phone, and you can actually run your sessions on there, your tutoring sessions. Okay, so these are all the tools that you need. Tools for growing your online tutoring business. Well, of course, these tools are both for growing and for growing your online tutoring business, but for growing the business, but also for running the business. So growing or running. Yep, I'll make this a bit wide. So I hope that's clear enough. Please ask any questions in the chat box, the Q&A. Okay, and actually, I can save this. Well, it hasn't given me an option to name it, but anyway, I can save this if I wanted to. Okay, I've actually saved it. So let's get this eraser and find out what's going on with this red thing that I put there earlier. Try to erase what I put there earlier. Okay, so there we go. All right, so we've got all the tools that we need. What I just wanted to show, this is an example of spotlighting. So I can spotlight things in here as well, which is a good, cool, very cool. Isn't that cool? How about Zoom? All right, so let's share the screens again. And I'm going to show you some of these tools. I want us to go through some of them just to sort of show you what they're like. So let's start with, well, you know Zoom, so you're already on Zoom. You've obviously got Zoom downloaded if you're on here. Your business page. Well, I'm pretty sure I don't need to show business pages, you know, because Facebook just has, you know, a business page is, all right, I'll go into Facebook. Now just type in, let's see what the CNN business page is saying. So a page is just somewhere that, you know, you can message people onto. It's like your website on Facebook, if you like. Oops, that's not really going. And you can message people on there and actually say the people on that page. So, you know, when you like somebody's page, okay, well, running a bit slow. All right, when you like somebody's page, that's, you know, that's a Facebook page that you're liking. And then when you see those posts, they might post something nice about, let's see, I can probably type in CNN, where they'll have a page. Just trying to have that come up. Anyway, so a page is just that, a page, and you can so on your Facebook you'll see this is where to go to where your page is. This is where your pages would be, and if you don't have a page, then when you click on that link that I just showed you, you can create a page in there. And actually, I think if you click on create here, it will give you an option of whether you want to create a book, a group, or a page. So CNN's. What's going on with Facebook today? Oh, let's come back to that. I'm a bit slow. All right. So while that's loading, okay. So, oh right, okay, it's showing me groups as well. when you do a search, obviously, yeah, you would probably find groups come up as well. But also, when if you do a search for something else, you would also have, let's see. Okay, let's search for. So this is what I'm saying. This is what a page looks like. So that's a page on there, and then you can see what, you can click on it and see what the page says, and that's actually how you know what they're posting. Now, what Facebook has done though is that a lot of the time when you post on your page, only about 2% of your audience will see it. And when I say audience, the people who have liked your page, only about 2% of them will see it. So really, to have your page, to have the people on your page see what you're posting, or even have people see it, generally your target market, the sort of parents that you would like to see your adverts when you put the adverts up, you would have to actually do adverts for it. You would have, when you put the advert up, you'd have to target those people, because you can't have them, you can't just have them sitting there with 2% of your page, 2% of people who've liked your page seeing it. You want more people to see it than that. That's why you're going to, so when you do the post itself, or when you do the advert, you would have to have what we call targeting, which I'll show you something in a minute. Just that you know the sort of audiences that you'll be targeting, and they're the ones that you want to see your page. Right? Not sure what's going on with Facebook. All right, so I wanted to show you about Facebook audiences. Now, in Facebook, there's something called audiences, and that's kind of like a group of people that could really. So this is the audiences. So I've opened up audience insights through Ads Manager and Business Manager. So if you look at this, it says business.facebook.com, and then it says ads. Now, business.facebook.com is the best place to go to actually create adverts as well, because you can do it on the Ads Manager, but it doesn't have as much. It doesn't have as much functionality as the business part of Facebook. So it's always good to create an account on the business.facebook.com. However, once you're a member of Facebook, anyway, you can just go to business.facebook.com and log in with your same username and password, and then it'll tell you to create an ad account, which is an advert account and all that, and then you'll be able to get into places like this. So I've clicked on the menu inside business.facebook.com, I've clicked on Audience Insights, and when you open it up, it'll say choose an audience to start with. So if I just choose everyone on Facebook, location, if I could put in United States, or I could change the location, I could close this and go to UK or any other country. So if you were trying to, let's say that you were trying to look at audiences in Japan because you wanted to advertise for people in Japan, you can find out a lot. Can you see that Japan come up? Yeah, and look, it's already telling us that there are 15 to 20 million people in Japan on Facebook. And it's saying 48% are women and 52% are men. And it's telling us the age brackets as well. So 34% of those women are 25 to 34 years old. So when you're working on targeting people, when you're creating your own advert, you need to specify what ages you want them to advertise to. So, for example, when I was advertising, I put in 35 because I wanted children who were sort of aged 6 to 13. So I put in 35 to 54. And then I did another set of adverts that were just 35 to 44. just so that I could test it out and see what the differences are. And so if you write something like interest here, which are some of the things that you're going to choose in the end, and you can actually type out interests. So let's say something like, and this is where you have to know the kind of parents that you're trying to target. This is where all the exercises we did in the first week and the second week, this is where it comes in, because what sort of, can somebody tell me, actually, did you do this exercise? Did you note down what sort of parents you're looking for, what kind of things they watch, what sort of books they read? Who can give me a book that your audience is reading, that a lot of people in your audience would read, or a TV show, or a popular celebrity person, or a popular brand that they'd be following? Can I have just one example? Somebody enter just an example of something that would be common to the sort of parents that you're trying to target. Anyone? Any ideas? No one? Is everyone hiding? Alrighty. Okay. Kuman. Well, Kuman is actually a tutoring company, so unless you're trying to target Kuman customers and have them not go to Kuman anymore, but start looking for you instead of coming for your tutoring online sessions. But let's type that in for just for sake of examples. So look at that, 80,000 to 90,000 people in Japan like Kumon or are interested in Kumon. And this sort of people, I mean, what sort of people do you think would be interested in Kumon? They're probably people who like tutoring. They're probably people, that audience would have a lot of people who are interested in tutoring, 80 to 30 to 90,000 people. Can you see up top here? Yeah. So what you can then do is you can scale even, you can narrow that audience even further if you want to. But I would normally say that when you do a Facebook advert, make sure it's at least 500,000 people. So what we could easily do here is to add more interests to this. You know, we add another interest here, and then it'll start increasing the audience. It's always better to find the sort of interests that you think that the people that you're targeting, the parents that you're targeting, would be interested in. All right. Age. See, now that's important because you do want them to be, I mean, obviously you don't want children of an 18-year-old, you know, so you want them to be older. So I would normally say, this is where I would choose sort of 35 to 54 is what I would choose. And it's going to depend what kind of students you're teaching. So if you're teaching A-level students, they'll probably be looking for tutoring themselves. So that's where what I'm going to be looking for is different from what you're looking for. Because if you want A-level students, they would be sort of, what, 18 and 19? Yeah, 18 and 19, or 17 and 18, and they are allowed to do stuff on Facebook, actually, you know. So it just depends what sort of students you're looking for. If you're looking for university students or college students, then you're looking for slightly older. And then your advert is slightly different to what you would place to parents, because usually the parent is your client because they're the one who's paying for it, you know. So I actually think in all cases, you know, it's always important to target the parent. Okay, and then look, it's telling you a lot about their relationship status. 70% of them are married, education level, 69% of them went to college, and some 6% of them have gone to grad school as well. And look at that, job titles. So a lot of them are in the cleaning and maintenance services, 4% of them. And most of them, 28%, sorry, the 28%, most of them are in management or administrative services. Well, 48% of them, if you look at that and that as well. Yeah. So it just depends who you're looking for, what sort of parents that you're looking for to actually target. Okay, so that's how to have an idea of your audiences. So this is like a research tool. So you can just go in here, audience insights, under when you log into business.facebook.com and create an account, which will just ask you about your name and address and all of that stuff, which it already has anyway because Facebook has it. It'll just ask you a few other things that you might need, but make sure that you sort out your Facebook page. Also, so that's that. I'm going to quickly go on to Ads Manager. So this is Adverts Manager on Facebook. And there we go. So this is my Ads Manager. And you can see it tells you what's been happening in your ads. And so this is so it's defaulted to December 31st, to the period between December 31st, 2018 and April 20th, 2019. Now I can just change this and find out what happened today or what happened yesterday or what's happened over the lifetime of my advertising. That would be a lot, So yeah, I can find out what's happened in the last 7 days, the last 14 days, last 30 days, this week, last week, this month, and last month. And then I can just do a custom where I can change the date to myself. So, oh yeah, literally by clicking here or going backwards if I wanted to go backwards even more. And so what you see are campaigns. So when you're on an advert and the advert says something like, hi, my name is Jane, and I love helping children, get confident through tutoring in such and such subjects. I've got 5 free tips, for example, to help children. Because you remember what I said last week, you always start with the lead magnet, which is a free sort of PDF or free video. So you say, I've got 5 tips to help your child get confident just before their exams, and then if you want to click here. I mean, that's not the exact advert, but we can work on the advert, but we won't have enough time. But copy is also an important thing. Writing copy is the actual text that you write online that you put in front of customers and prospective clients and audiences. So writing the copy is also very, very important. If the ad isn't selling, if the copy isn't selling, then obviously it'll be very difficult to get parents from it. So you need to be able to sell yourself. And so then there's a top level for adverts in Facebook, and it's called campaigns. And then under the campaign is the ad set. So you can have several ad sets under the campaign. And the ad sets would usually be your audience, like, what sort of ages you're targeting, what are their interests, that's your targeting. Who are you targeting? And even how much you're spending per day. So you can spend $1 a day, or you can spend $5 a day. It's up to you, and you can turn it off and you can turn it on when you want to. And then the ads itself. So the ads itself are the adverts, the copy itself that you're actually putting and sending out to a customer. Now, under the campaign, you would normally say what your objective is. Facebook wants to know whether you're just trying to get, for example, video views, because that's a type of objective, or you're trying to get conversions. So you want people to actually click on your lead magnet and go and put their email address in. And there's so many others, or you just want to get some traffic, or you just want people to see your ad, so that's what Facebook do. We wouldn't cover actually doing adverts in this course, just because we just wouldn't have enough time to be able to cover it in this beta course. And it's only beta, so it'd be in the full course, of course, and it'll explain everything a bit further. But a lot of this you can certainly see by just playing around with it. But if you needed a bit of hand-holding, that's where we do. And if you were a part of the course itself that we're launching, then then we'll be showing you that and taking you through it and actually looking at your ad copy and giving you feedback on that. So that you can be successful quickly. Now, over here, so you can see these are the names of campaigns that we've run, and you can turn them off or you can start them off. This was the sales ones were it was a video. These were different videos showing different tips about maths. And look at the impressions. So it's saying 6,400 people saw that one. 12,400 people saw this one. 23,880 people saw this one. This is telling me how many seconds they watched from my video. So there were 2,433 people who saw this video and watched 3 seconds minimum of it. And it's showing, see, I'm getting video views for as little as 1 cent. 1 cent. That's how cheap. So you could literally do a video and just let people know about you, you know, and target the right people, you know, the people in, if you're trying to advertise to people in your local area, or you're trying to advertise to people in Japan, or, you know, you target those people. And this, look at that video views. This is like, this is not even 1 cent. This is 0.4 cents that I got this video views for, you know. And what this is doing is building audiences. So I'm looking for the people who are most engaged, who love the videos and want to watch more of it, because I'm talking there about maths and I want the people to see it. And I want to know what people are really interested in maths for their kids or not. But I haven't actually sold anything here. This is just another type of ad called video views, which is, again, out of the scope of this course. But you can see, you can have a see how that works here. Look at the 10-second video views. Okay, I've got a question. Just 1 second. Can I actually, let me see if I can. Okay, Jazz, I'm going to unmute your mic so you can ask your question.
Great.
Hi, Jazz. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering, these videos, when it says 3-second view, are the people actually pressing play, or is this the auto play when it's on their feed and just plays by itself?
It's normally autoplay, so Facebook would normally make it autoplay. And so that 3-second views may not be 3 seconds. It could be 1 second, because, or even no seconds, just because the person hasn't actually clicked on it to continue playing it, because Facebook actually starts auto playing it. That's a very good question, actually. Well spotted, very good question. Now, that's why it's important. And that's why in my columns here, I've made sure, and if you look at it, columns, video engagement. So I've chosen the video engagement columns because it's a video kind of ad. And I want to know how many people have watched 10 seconds of the video, because that's more important. So that's likely to have been watched by people. No one really leaves their Facebook open for 10 seconds and not, you know, do anything with it. They'll close it if they're not going to watch it. But can you see? So that's cost for 10 seconds. So 10-second views, and it tells me how many of all the people who I showed the video to, how many of them have actually seen 10 seconds of it. So it's still 8,624 people on that one, and 1,924 people. So it's getting interesting, and I'm getting more interested in those people. Now, through plays, Facebook recently added something called through plays, and through plays are like 15 seconds is what Facebook means by through plays. Oh, it's there. Okay. The number of times your video was played to completion, or for at least 15 seconds. So if the video is less than 15 seconds, then it means that they've, you know, they watched it all the way through. So that's them watching 100% of the video. And it would still go under, it would still count to through plays. But if your video is more than 15 seconds, because if you want to do Instagram stories, you want to do 15-second videos so that you can use it on both Facebook and Instagram. But anyway, this is just Facebook we're talking about now. And believe it or not, you can access Instagram from your Facebook account, from thisbusiness.facebook.com. And you'll see it when you're creating an ad. It'll ask you if you want to go on Instagram as well. if you want the same ad to go on Instagram as well. So it'll split the money that you've put on there, the budget that you've put on there to spend per day or per week. It'll split it between Facebook and Instagram for you. And so the number of times your video was played to completion, or for at least 15 seconds. So if your video is more than 15 seconds, it just counts the person as having watched your video to through play, and through play is 15 seconds. And it writes it here as well. And look at that. Cost per through play, 1 cent. So, and look at the reach or the number of people that that Facebook has actually reached, you know. So how many people has Facebook sort of put this into their vicinity? It's reached, and then the impressions are the people who've actually seen it, you know, seeing it. And then you can see how much I spent on each of those. I spent $55 on this. And I'll look at that video, which watches are 50%. So they watch 50% of the videos, you know, and video watches are 75%. This is still a lot of people, you know. Almost 2,000 people watched my video, 75%. And then 955 watched at 95%, which, you know, it's pretty much 100. So these people were so interested, they stayed on and watched it all the way through. And these are usually sort of 4-minute or 5-minute videos. Okay, this is at 100%, but you know what? 95% for me is as good as 100%, even 75%. So I would then do something that we call retargeting, which means that we are. I would create another advert, now a proper advert, not just video views, and I would retarget these people and say, Facebook, show these people my advert, because I know these people are super engaged because they watched my video all the way through. So they're interested in what I have to offer. They're interested in maths for their kids. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to move swiftly on. I could show you other types of ads in here, but I think we better move on because we're probably nearing sort of 15 minutes to go. So, and I don't want to really run over your time like I did the other time. So anyway, so that's it. And then you can toggle between the dates in there as well. So that is Ad Manager. Does that answer your question actually, Jess? I think I've still got you on mute.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, great. I'll just put you back on mute, and how do I put your hand down? Okay, yeah. All right. So, and then I was going to take you through Stripe. Well, Stripe is really just Stripe. It's a very easy, it's a simple backend. And it really is about payments. And some of the main things that are there, I saw it here earlier, so I realized I didn't actually have to log in for it, are, you know, like payments. So on the back end, once you log in, once you set up an account and log in, you'll see things that, I mean, most of us know how to use PayPal, I imagine. But also even on PayPal, you can see, you know, what people you've paid, or on what people have paid you as well. And you can see, but on Stripe in particular, you can see customer details. PayPal tells you as well who's paid to you, but with Stripe, it just has, I like its customer interface as well, because you see a customer can pay you more than once. So if you had 20 customers, and those customers are normally, you know, you can create a customer and then you can take payments from them through credit cards, and you just take the payments like that. But a customer could have a subscription to your services, or they could have just made you one payment, or they could have made you several payments. So I like the sort of way that, you know, reminds me of relational databases that we did in was it SQL? We did it in SQL or basically in databases anyway, teaching us about databases when I was doing my BSc. And then there's subscriptions, and then there's reporting. Those are some of the main things that Stripe has. And of course, you can connect it with different systems. But again, for tutoring, we just want to keep it really simple. You log into Stripe and take payments when you need to take payments. And you can set up subscriptions as well in there, which means that a customer is then, you know, you're charging the customer every month or every week or every 20 lessons up front, or, you know, that's what subscriptions would be about. Now, MailChimp. Let's go to MailChimp. I did log into this, but I think I have to log in again because it's... Is that saved already? No. I don't know if that was the right password saved. Let's check. Am I logging correctly? I'm not sure that I'm logging in correctly. Anyway, that's that. We'll come back to MailChimp in a minute while it logs in. Calendly. I'm sure I can go through Calendar really quickly. Calendly. So I tend to use Calendly. It's free, but again, there are some things that are not there if you're using the free version. And so I'm actually going to upgrade to the next version up, because when you set up what's going on? When you set up an appointment with a client, or when a client books an appointment with you, because, you know, you can send them your link. You'd have a direct link from Calendly once you set up an account, and that would go, and you could use your Google account actually to log in as well. And that would go directly to the customer when you send them that link, and then they would be able to see your calendar straight away. You'll set up in your calendar what days you're not busy, what times you're not busy, you know, and you'll update it all the time. And so when you do that, a customer can go in and actually book a time for you that they've got a lesson with you, or they've got on a tutoring session with you. So I'm just going back in to Calendly, and I'm going to show you how that works in there. BuzzSumo, we don't need to go into BuzzSumo. It's just a site called BuzzSumo, BuzzSumo, and it's very good for finding what topics are going viral. So you can type in education or physics or science, whatever you teach, maths, you know, and you can see what's actually going viral in there. And then you can write about that. That's what those are for. That's why I wrote those in there. Hosting, you know, just to go to GoDaddy or HostGator and just buy your domain name from there if you don't already have one. It's always nice to have your own domain name. Of course, you can use some of the other platforms' domain name, you know, like you can use Wix, you can use Squarespace, you can use even WordPress. So your website could be something like wonderfuleducation.wordpress, you know. So that means you don't have to get a domain name, but it's nicer, and it looks a little bit nicer and neater if you have your own domain name. So if your tutoring company was called something like ABC Tutoring, then ideally it's nice to get a domain name that's called abctutoring.com or whatever area you live. .com is normally the best website, well, you know, the best extension to get, but when you do that, you can it looks a bit neat. It just looks a bit neater. And domain names are usually just about £10 a year or $10 a year, depending what kind of domain name it is. And then you build your websites on top of that, and your blog on top of that website. So let me just check what's happening to MailChimp. We'll come back to Calendly in a minute. I'll just check what's going on with MailChimp. Nope, my internet is fine, because at least it is a bit slow. Running quite slow today, but it's at least logging into things. It just went into Calendly, so I'm not sure why it's saying that. Something wrong with my website. All right. So with Calendly, there's always a dashboard, which is this here. And you can see, so it'll just say, when you set up an account, it'll say something like My Calendly. It'd have a link for you, which is a link that you've put in there yourself. So my link is business support. You can see I've got different types of meetings that I could hold. And these are all things that I set up myself. So I could do online tutoring business. I could do the business growth. I could do the parent support roadmap one. I could just do a 20-minute meeting with somebody I want to catch up with. And, you know, there are several others that I could probably do. Or maybe I haven't set those up yet. And you can delete things and add things as is. But each of those would actually then say, depending which link, all of them will have different links. So depending which link I send to you or send to somebody else, when they click it, it'll go into that calendar for that particular link. So I might only have like all of these other ones I've turned off at the moment, you know, and I can turn it on when I want to, but I just don't want people to book. I don't want parents to book the parent support roadmap at the moment. I don't want to do the 20-minute meetings at the moment. I don't want to do the 30-minute meeting or 60-minute meetings. But when I need them, depending on what program I'm releasing, then I open them up. So at the moment, I've got the online tutoring business growth roadmap session, and I've got that open. And then I don't want to go too much into it because it's pretty straightforward to use. But once you click on this bit here, no, it's here. Yeah, once you say edit, then it starts to show the whole calendar and what days you have booked out, what days you've written in there that you have available for clients to book with you. And you can also integrate that. So I've got my ClickFunnels page, which is like a landing page that I have. I can actually write, oh no, actually, let's see, my landing page. The reason I didn't write the other landing pages down in the tools that you need is because it's not the end of the world if you don't have it. It's because MailChimp has landing pages. They're not pretty. ClickFunnels and Lead Pages have much better landing pages, but because it's yet another thing and I'm trying to keep this simple for you, it is a lot of work, but it's all doable, especially when you've got somebody to guide you through and you've got supports and tell you exactly what things to do and what tools you need. But ClickFunnels and Lead Pages are landing pages, and I think I explained this in week 1. Landing pages are places that when your customer clicks on when your potential client or your audience clicks on your advert on Facebook, and and the adverts has said to them, enter your email address, click here and enter your email address, and I'll send you the 5 tips to increasing confidence for your child. It'll go to the landing page, which is like a web page, and it'll go to like a web page. It doesn't have to be on your website, but again, it's better if it's on your website. And the only thing that the customer will be able to do on there, or your audience will be able to do on there, is enter their email address and maybe a first name if you've added a first. I like to put a first name in there, first name and email address. Not too many things. You don't really want addresses and all that because you already know where they're from anyway on Facebook, because you chose, for example, to advertise to students in Japan. Japan is, I spoke to someone yesterday in Korea, and they are, I think they're 8 hours ahead or 6 hours ahead, maybe 8 hours ahead, something like that, and Japan are about, I think, 9 hours ahead. So you can quite easily train online students, tutor online students over there as well. So there's so many things that you can set up in here, but I wouldn't, just because I want to get to MailChimp, I wouldn't go into all of it. But it's quite straightforward, and all of these tools, they do have supports that can help out. If you're not paying for it, if it's free, the support sometimes take a little bit longer to get back to you, probably about 2 days or so, but they still get back to you, so you can certainly do quite a lot in that time as well. Okay, so what's going on with MailChimp? Let's try and log into MailChimp. Alrighty, let's see what happens. Okay, so it's going in and thinking. Just trying to make sure as well that when you set up your, Facebook, if you're setting up a Facebook group, that's just, again, an additional thing that you don't actually need for now. But if you do set those up, then you know that you don't want it to be public. You want it to be open. I actually recently just set up a Facebook group just for the beta programmers in the online course, and then we'll start adding people to it once we're ready to launch the course. So just make sure that you make it closed and not open and not public, because then any odd person can join it. And also don't make it secret, because then nobody can find it. All right, so look at that. So for this particular audience, there are quite a few in there. See, there are loads in there, but for this particular one, it has 2,930 contacts and 2,337 of them are subscribers, which means these are active members still on here. And so MailChimp tells you a lot of things about your audience. So to create campaigns, this is where you're going to create a campaign. And a campaign is also, because in Facebook, we did see that there were campaigns in there, but those campaigns contained adverts. In MailChimp, a campaign is a place where you would be able to create a set of emails. Do you remember I kept explaining about all the different emails that we can create, which we'll actually get to next week. But the audience in here, I'd be able to create, see, I could see I could open the contacts, I could manage the audience, I could, add another subscriber or import the contacts that I have here. And the information in here is really emails and stuff. And I got this from Facebook as well. Actually, for all of them, I got them all from Facebook. Sometimes you can actually upload a group of contacts if you already have the contacts on an Excel spreadsheet and stuff. But the main thing that we're trying to teach in this course is to get online students and be able to advertise for them successfully. And again, you can advertise for as little as, see the adverts that I showed you, the video views ones, they're normally quite cheap. They're not always as cheap as what I showed you. It's because I know how to do the adverts and I've done it for quite a while. But your video views will be cheaper than if you did proper ads for, they're called conversion ads, where your customer would actually click on those ads and actually go and enter an email address. They're a different kind of ads. They're called conversion ads. So, and they're about, I got those ads still for about between 30 cents and $1. But don't be alarmed if your adverts are not that cheap, because when you first start out, you're going to be learning how to do it. So it could be $2 or $3 that you'd be getting the leads for. But see, as long as that's converting, you wouldn't mind. If for every dollar you spend, you're getting $2 back, for example, in tutoring, because your converters is tutoring. Not all of them will convert, but when you think about how much you've spent and the percentage of them that's actually converting and into tutoring students, once you think about that and you see that, you're actually making money, so you're putting in a certain amount and you're getting out a certain amount and it's multiplied, why not? How much would you put in there? You'd empty your bank account because you're going to double it. So this is a good thing about Facebook advertising. You can pretty much predict what would happen, but you don't need to be watching it. It's not something that you're going to put on and go to bed and go on holiday with. I mean, you can go on holiday, but the key is, it does need tweaking every now and again. But the good thing about tutoring is that you won't need many at all, compared to the number that people who are selling products. For example, I'm selling products as well as wanting to tutor online, and particularly I'm wanting to just do well. When I started getting leads online, I didn't want to tutor one-on-one, and I wanted to do group tutoring, but I even wanted that to be pre-recorded. So that's what I actually did, and that's what I used those clients for. But also, I was selling products as well. So I wanted them to see my products that I created, my maths products that I created as well. So I used them for all of that because it was the same audience that I was trying to talk to. Now look at this. So I haven't added any contacts to this audience in the last 30 days. So for this particular audience, remember this is just one of many. For this particular one, I haven't done Facebook. So I've turned off these ads on Facebook. When I turn them on again, then it'll start increasing. But for now, I don't need any more because I need to sort out these people properly. There's a lot that I'm actually doing and recording all the videos for them, and I'm sending it to them little by little. So I need to get all of those finished first before actually turning it on again and having, but it's like turning on a tap, you know, and then having a whole load more contacts in there. Tags are a little bit more complicated, but they're about tagging someone in MailChimp, for example, is if somebody has just joined my list today from Facebook because they've downloaded my PDF or my free videos, I could tag them May customers, or I could tag them maybe just because they're coming from, it might be that I've advertised to just the Virginia customers, then I could tag them Virginia customers, or I could just tag them Virginia. Which means when I'm ready, if I need to, I can tell MailChimp to give me all customers that are from Virginia. Also, you can, so it tells you a lot of things. It tells you, I mean, there's so many things you can do. So this is what I talked about with the landing page. To start with, you can create pages in MailChimp, and, you know, as time goes on, then you can do the other bits. Now, what we're doing, because there's a lot to teach, and as you know, this is a beta course, which actually was supposed to have ended. I'm thinking of doing just one more week of going through the emails that you'd be sending. So that'll be quite short, probably just half an hour. And then we can do, you know, we can answer any other questions. But I would like to do that as well, to just sort of show you all what your email sequence should be like. So the emails that you're going to write out and create in here in MailChimp, or in GetResponse, or in Aweber, I'd like to tell you what the structure of that should be. So that you're doing it with structure, and it follows success. It follows the way that I've done it and been successful at it. It follows the way that a lot of internet marketers, online marketers, have done it and been successful at it as well. All right. Marketing engagement, and oh, sorry, just to mention, and that's the reason that I didn't want to talk about ClickFunnels or lead pages, because they are another two pieces of software that you could use to create landing pages. And landing pages, again, as I said, is that page that's like a web page, and you can actually enter details into it. Customer can enter their details into it, their email address and their first name is all you need, and it would capture that email address. And in the case of lead pages and ClickFunnels, I use ClickFunnels, so I connect it to MailChimp here. So my emails would automatically come here. So these emails, for example, that you're looking at here, came in through a ClickFunnels page, and it came in automatically. So even when I was sleeping, my list was building, and I could just come and check it every time and just say, all right, how many have I got now? And then I'd see that, oh, I've now got 1,000, or I've got 2,000, or I've got 8,000, or depending which list it was. Yeah. Also, look at that engagement, email marketing engagement. So this is the percentage of my subscribers who are highly engaged and often open and click my emails. So subscribers are people, your audience that you've actually got in your email management software. So they're the people that you've got emails for and names for, and you can market to them and write to them anytime with emails. And then I've got 21% of them who are just moderately engaged and sometimes open and click my emails, because you can't have 100% of people looking at your emails all the time. By the way, 49% is quite high, like extremely high. Normally open rates on emails are usually about, nowadays it's gone to about 10%. You know, so that's majorly, that's a very big percentage there. Well, that's because I know how to run. I've done this quite a bit, so I know how to engage them quite well, and also to put those things in place, especially the emails and what I'll be saying in there that draw the customers to wanting to talk to me and hear about me. And part of it is also targeting the right people as well. So because Facebook is deceptively simple, Facebook adverts, and you can go and target the wrong people, or the same people that everyone else is targeting, which makes your ads more expensive. And so this is where some of the extra bits that we do come in. We're actually opening up, I don't know if I have mentioned that we have a course that we're filming. The full course that we're filming with coaching is $2,500, but we are doing a part of it which is just the course itself, where there's no coaching, there's no extra bits in there, just the whole course itself, but explains everything that I'm explaining to you in this 5 weeks. And that would be, well, should I say in this 4 weeks, because next week is just going to be quickly about the email addresses strategy. And that would be $495 on its own. But what I've decided to do just last week, just from feedback that I've been getting from this beta course, is that even that could be a lot. It depends how quickly you want to go. So if there are any of you who don't want to, who are worried about being overwhelmed or anything like that, then you can join our other, it'd be like a monthly subscription group. That's quite cheap, it'll be $47 a month, and in each month we teach everyone of, for example, all the tools that I've explained to you today. We teach all of it in detail. So we go into it and we show you how to create a campaign, and we show you how to do all the emails, but we show you so you can follow step by step after it, and we do that. That's $47 a month, and it's $1 for the very first session. Sorry, for the very first month. So it's once a month, and so in 12 months you'd have learned everything that you really want to know, or even before then, or you can just get the whole course to go, which is a 6-week course. So, and then 20% of people, really a percentage of subscribers who are not very engaged and rarely open or click my emails. Now look at this, top locations. So look at that, VA. So I've got loads of people from there, loads from Dublin, loads from California, Mountain View, loads for Waltham Forest in England. And those are like and then London is my 5th popular location from people that people have opted in from. So again, if you've said you wanted your location to be only, for example, in Virginia, because that's where you live and that's where you want to, or that's where you actually want to tutor, then this location should only really show one thing. It would only show one thing, because Facebook's data is quite accurate. You can trust Facebook that they have accurate data, because they partner with all of these other companies. They know everything about you, by the way. It's a bit creepy. They know everything about you and I. They know whether you've got children, whether you're married, when you got married, what schools your children are, especially how old they are. They just know everything about you. But in the same way, they know everything about your customer and your client. And Facebook gets paid, because notice that Facebook accounts are free. All accounts are free on Facebook, but they get paid through their adverts, the adverts that they do. So they need advertisers, and they're always going to need advertisers. Otherwise, they can't sustain the platform, and then there'll be no Facebook. So, but they've got accurate data. So you can rest assured that if you want to target certain people, you can. They've got amazing targeting. I mean, that targeting is so, you can target anyone, anywhere, using any of their interests. It's an interest-based targeting, which just tells you so much thing, what people like, what food, what people like diabetes, what people are likely to have, parents with children a certain age. You can target Facebook people. But the only thing you can't do on Facebook is race, I believe. And Facebook doesn't like any sort of discrimination or any sort of there's something else that they really wouldn't, any sort of thing. So in your adverts, if you write something like, are you trying to lose weight, they are going to frown against that. So when people are advertising, for example, in the health industry, because I also had I have another business in the health industry, there's a certain way to go about it as well. They don't like pointing fingers. In a sense, they hate it when it looks like you're pointing fingers in a bad way at people. So look at that. Target people based on food and drink, beverages, cooking. You can just, energy drinks. So if you were selling energy drinks, you would be targeting this kind of people. Because when you click on this, then the audiences will change, and it'll tell you how many, roughly 300 to 350K people. And then you can add something else. You can add just beverages, and because that perhaps what you're trying to sell, the drink that you're trying to sell, the energy drink that you're trying to sell, is also known as a beverage. I mean, that's just an example. I'm just saying, you know, it's also known as some sort of beverage. Therefore, you would add beverage to the list of interests of the people that you want to target, you know. Although it's always better to target one interest per ad set. So you can create multiple ones and you can just put one interest in each one interest each in each one. Because that enables you to know how much it's selling, how much your adverts is converting rather, and how much it's not. Alrighty, so I'm going to let us all go. I don't know if there are any final questions. If there are any final questions, if not, I am going to sign off. I can see something here. All right. So that's great. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hey, you're welcome. All right, so that's it. And then next week, I'll just quite happy to do half an hour. If you can all sort of drop me a line and let me know who would like to do one next week, just to be sure, because this was meant to be a 3-week course, and then I did mention that I'd like to do two Q&As in there. So we've kind of covered a lot of the questions today that people were asking. And then next week, I'd just like to do possibly just half an hour one. So if everyone's happy, then I can do next week and then we'll close it from there. So yep. Okay, great. Yep. Okay. Yep. All right, so that's cool. Okay, so let's do next week, and we can do, and I'll just go through the emails. I'll specifically go through the emails I'm talking about, and I still haven't figured out how to. There's a way. I'm just being a bit lazy. How to get my phone. Some of the students, some of the parents on those lists of mine that were asking me for one-on-one tutoring. I was going to show it. Maybe I'll just read it out next week, but. It's all on my phone, and I know there's a way to connect it to Zoom, but I'm just being a bit lazy. So maybe I'll just read them out next week. But there are lots of parents who were chasing me to do one-on-one tutoring, even though, and that's just to let you know how vast the opportunity is. And these people were in different countries like South Africa, like I don't know, just several different countries, you know, all over the world. Were asking me to help their children for tutoring. They just wanted their children to be more confident in maths, and they had children. Some of them had children who were struggling. Some of them had children who just didn't like maths at all, and they just wanted me to support them and help them in it. I couldn't. Well, I could, but I didn't want to because I wanted to stay focused on the group sessions that I was trying to create. So if you're looking for one-on-one tutoring students, definitely your customers are online. And if you're looking for group ones, your customers are online for sure. But it'd be nice if I might open them up next week and just read to you what some of the parents were saying to me, you know, when they were choosing me for one-on-one tutoring. All right. So, righty, I'm going to let everyone go, and you have a great, well, it's evening here in England. It's 8:43. I don't know what time it is everywhere else, but some of you are probably 8 hours behind, 5 hours behind, and maybe 6 hours behind, I'm guessing. So, all right then. Take care, everyone. Ta-ra. Ta-ra.